1, 2, 3, 4.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's right, the big dick is here. Get ready. May we start?
What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to another Tasty Tuesdays talk. I am Zebra, and today on the show, I got Dope Stilo back in the building. What's going on?
What up?
What's up? Welcome back. And then we brought a guest. You brought a friend, DJ Mackey.
Hey.
What's up,
There we go.
So we're doing a round 2 of the Metaverse, and you guys have a lot of information to tell me, right?
Yeah.
A lot has been happening for you, Steel, right?
Definitely.
You want to start there?
Yeah.
Catch us up from the last time you were on the show.
Yeah, so last time we were talking about the Metaverse and spatial, and at the time they didn't have any legs. The avatars were kind of just floating through. And now there's a Ready Player Me, a company that is like a cross Metaverse company, and now they have integrated into spatial. So there's a lot of really cool looking avatars, like makes it a bit more immersive, a bit more like realistic. And I know that they're creating like some creator tools, so soon there'll be some like wearables and stuff like that everyone can like make, and put in. But yeah, basically since that, NFT NYC came along, I created a lot of momentum and just got invited as a featured artist by Spatial to perform in New York, which was amazing. Just all that time in the Metaverse and, making so many new connections, and Spatial being very like Web3 minded as far as, interacting with the community, like a business interacting head on with the community. Like, what are their needs? What are they looking for? How can we make the platform better? So yeah, basically we had an amazing time with NFT NYC. I performed live at the Samsung store in Soho. And we did like a transcendent experience where we had the Metaverse on a huge 35-foot screen, and I performed live. The whole community showed up. DJ Mackey, he came out, was dancing in the Metaverse, checking out the stream of my show in New York. So it was like everyone could see each other, and it was really cool. It was just amazing. So that created a lot of momentum for me, and I started pushing one NFT, and that's the one song that I've been performing all year that I performed last time when I was here, Bonita. And so, yeah, we've sold over like 55 music NFTs, Latin music NFTs. And it's just, I've learned a lot about strategy and like how to approach the NFT concept with music. So yeah, bringing that with the Metaverse. We're just doing events weekly. Every Wednesday we get together, share, collaborate, push each other to perform. And we've built a really cool community that way. And here we are, got DJ Mackey in the house. We met in the Metaverse since then, and we've gotten together and worked in so many different ways. And he's, doing some amazing things as well. So I definitely wanted to introduce you.
Yeah, so just give a little backstory who DJ Mackey is. I know you have a long resume in the music industry, but just...
my name is Mackey. I am a DJ. Some people call me DJ Mackey. The brand is DJ Mackey. And I've been in the music business for over 25 years, and music producing, DJing, performing, live events, a lot of live events and performances over the last like 12, 13 years. And when the situation happened where we were all at home for 2 years, I wasn't doing in real life events, and I did get into crypto and some Web3 stuff, and about a year later, that led me into this Metaverse project. in Spatial, and I met Stilo, and we just started doing events. He had been doing events, and I had done a lot in real life, and it was interesting and enticing to do them virtually and not have to have some of the drawback and the downplay of real life events, like certain things. There is also other technical things to learn in that area, which you've been figuring out. And when I met him, he was doing like 3 things a week in there, and then now he does like 1 every week, but he usually has a special event too. And then our first thing we ever did together, I worked with a guy named Mickey Avalon. He's a platinum selling rap artist. He has a song called My Dick. And
You may have heard of him.
yeah, you may have heard of him. And I produced a lot of his stuff and DJ for him. So we've been doing some new songs, and I met Stilo at that time, and he was like, hey, well, why don't we do a concert, together and have Mickey play? So that was the first thing we did, and it was in Spatial, and it was really successful, and like the people that work at Spatial came, and like the CEO and like all these big wigs came.
Once you put a name on, like a bigger name on it, people they turn heads, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a name on there for sure, and we had a lot of people playing, and that was the most people, I think, except, since New Year's that they'd had. So, yeah, so that kind of set it off, and it's interesting because me, him, and a few other people that did that concert, now we've, many months later, we formed an event company now that we'll talk about a little later, because now there's, more people wanting to do stuff. We see brands, wanting to come in there. And then I'm also teaching a mindset course in there, like the Tony, we joke, I'm the Tony Robbins of the Metaverse. So I built a stage and like do speaking in there, because that's another thing I do is speak. And the Metaverse is great because you can try out your ideas a lot easier than, getting a whole auditorium that I need to speak in and making sure like this many people come all the time. But in there, yeah, we've done Mackey's Mindset. In fact, I got to do it today. That's why I'll have to get out of here like about in an hour.
But how did you get interested into going to the Metaverse? So was it during kind of height of pandemic?
Yeah, it was at the end of it. I had bought into this NFT project called Squad of Knights, and it's by this 2 or 3-time Grammy award-winning producer named Ill Mind. And so it's these, pictures that you buy on the internet, but you're part of his whole ecosystem where he has producers and engineers and all this stuff. And so one of the things in that project was he had a virtual recording studio in Spatial. So I had looked around in Sandbox, which is another metaverse, but I never really spent any time in Spatial. And then I went for a meetup we had for that project. When we didn't have legs, that was the first time I was ever in there. There was no legs, and like, the Squad of Knights had this meetup in there, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I was on my computer, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then maybe like a few weeks later, I saw this thing on Twitter where they're like, oh, Ready Player Me, we have avatars now, like get a free t-shirt if you, and I'm a sucker for like, contests or free t-shirts. So I just thought, okay, I'll just jump in there and get the free t-shirt and then go do something else. And then I went in there, got the t-shirt, and to get the t-shirt, you had to make your avatar, so made your avatar. It was real easy. It looked really like me a lot. And so then I started hanging out, and I don't know if I met Stilo that day. It was either that day or the next day, but I ended up staying in there for like 5 or 6 hours and going to a party that the developers were having in a Manhattan townhouse, and Ringo Starr from the Beatles was there, the real Ringo. I didn't know it was really him at the time.
But it really was him.
Yeah, because he has a gallery
It's NFT
in
gallery.
Spatial. Yeah.
He got on it.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool, you know. It's
So you've been hooked since basically that first experience.
Yeah. I definitely have been hooked since. And there's so many different levels because you can build worlds, and you build worlds. And then I got the headset, and the headset was a whole nother level of things. Like I saw what the future will be.
Okay.
You know.
Cool. So yeah, we were talking about that off the air about the different levels of the metaverse. Do you want one of you guys re-explain that, basically? Because you were talking about the headset.
Because so the one we use is called Spatial. So it's you don't have to buy land. It's free. It's like going to a website. It's kind of like a Web 2.5. And so you can look at it on a phone. So you can walk around on a phone. There's certain things you can't do on the phone, like build your own world and move some pictures around. But you can still go in and hang out at the party and talk to people. Then the next level is the desktop. It's like if you were playing, a video game on your desktop, right?
Like Warcraft, yeah.
Yeah. And you want to have a pretty good one. Like that's the thing. Like you need a newer phone pretty much, and you need a newer, a computer optimized for gaming makes it helps. You can still do it, but you'll see what we mean if you really like it and get into it. And then the next level, is putting the headset on, like when you walk in it. And people ask me, like, why are you so into the metaverse? You know, in your mindset class, you tell people to stay off the phone and, take a weekend without the phone and walk around without it. So what I tell people is it's really a metaphor for life. So if I'm here and I'm looking at the computer and I see my avatar on the screen, right? Like, I know I'm the one moving the avatar around, like I'm controlling it. But the avatar in there doesn't know me. It's in a different dimension. So when I turn the thing off or I move it, it's just like he's dead or whatever.
Idle.
But then he can make his own avatar in there on a little screen and look at it. And it's like the same thing that's like in a circle. And then I think life, how it is like we're like this version of an avatar, but there's a higher self of ours in the fourth and fifth dimension that moves us around, that controls it. And this avatar here is like the one in the thing. It forgets, like, oh, I'm connected to something else that in this world I don't understand because the time is different, the timing, but we're still connected to it. So then if you put on the headset, you realize that avatar in there realizes, oh, hey, like I am the guy controlling this. Because it's like, you're a computer guy putting this headset on and you're doing it. And so that's like how real life is. You become self-realized to like, oh, wow, like I am connected to this, at doing this. So I like to see it like as a metaphor for like this environment,
Yeah, when I was hiking, actually, like last week, I always think about that, how you think about how your view of the metaverse is. And when I was hiking, I was like thinking, like, what is causing my legs to automatically just go walk, take that next step. And I was thinking, that brought me up. I'm like, wow, like what is controlling my body to make my legs move? I was just thinking, like, that spirit, that soul, and I was just thinking about that on the hike. And I always think about that sentence that he just stated about the metaphor of the metaverse and your avatar, et cetera. It's crazy. Even like last week when we had the party, we went on a hike. I created this beach. I took a 3D model by this geologist. off of Sketchfab, and I tagged him in it. It's sketchfab.com/geology_LMU, and he has this, bunch of landscapes that he takes for geology, and his business is to, he creates landscapes and models of land for geology and with drones. So basically, I took that GLB file and I uploaded it into Spatial, super easy, and just drag and drop, and created a skybox around it, which was given to me by Polycount, M2 Studios. And so I created this beach. And then I put a condo and some Hummer, helicopter, put a Jumbotron, I put everyone's NFTs around, and, and then we just had a party on the beach. And I went up to the mountain, I took a selfie, and there was like ants in the beach, watching this screen, and that was my friend on the screen rapping on camera from New Jersey, so, and then we all kind of just take turns and share and do that. So that was just such an experience. After that was over, we kind of went and like explored the land together. And so we, went up the mountain and went, took pictures up there, and like, yeah, it's just really crazy, super immersive experience. And me sharing my music that way is really fun. And I think it's beneficial to both parties, kind of like NFTs. And NFTs is like the currency in the metaverse, as well as connection and connectivity and communication, meeting people from all around the world, and imagine like there's no limit what can happen, the other day I was talking to somebody, a DJ, and he was like, I was like, yeah, like, but we can only get 50 people in here, like that's the limit, that's the max. And now it's 500 people that you can get, like 50
500 where?
So you can get, like if I had a show and I had a screen and an environment loaded, I could have 50 people in one room, but that room would get instanced 10 times, so that can fit 500 people experiencing the same live stream on YouTube. So basically I told somebody, I was like, yeah, it only fits 50. And he's like, yeah, but you know how hard it is to get 50 people anywhere? You know what I mean? And I was like, dang, he's right. Having 10, 13, 15 people, 20, 30, 50. We had a show, we had 500 people come in 3 hours from all around the world. It was an amazing event. It was like 4 hours long. Yeah. We took selfies. We had, just an amazing experience with a lot of people, and people saw what we do. And we're, a lot of the times, you're my first Metaverse concert I've ever been to, and I, just doing that, and then me getting better and better at it now with a green screen. I got donated from the community. Shout out to Shane Hood. It's just an amazing experience, and I'm loving it. The connections, the people, and I think that it's gonna, really grow into something special.
Well, speaking of the connections, you were telling me that you've had some major connections more than like real life, right? So explain that. Like,
I wouldn't say more than real life
in a different way.
It makes online connection deeper. It's like it feels like you're really hanging out with people. It's a way to connect with people deeper emotionally on the internet than just a comment. Like there's people that you really like feel connected to maybe before, like they always comment on your thing or you comment on theirs and they like your picture. You know what I mean? But you don't do this where you're actually with them, even though it's not physically human them.
That's crazy.
But it's like this where you have to wait for the other person to talk and you want to say something. It's just a different version than like just smashing stuff on a thing when you're not like talking. And you get these things you get in real life, like these feelings of shared experiences, like these things we've thrown. A lot of these things we throw, they involve like, 6 to 7 people that are throwing them, or at least, 3 or 4. And so when we pull it off, it feels like a real event. It feels like thousands of events that I've done in real life where we're like, okay, well, that worked. And this person, So we're getting our ducks in a row because we see the mainstream is starting to come in for those events. But yeah, that's really what it is in a nutshell. Like, if my mom plays Roblox with her granddaughter, and so she gets it because they don't live in the same city, but they play Roblox together and they feel like they're hanging out. So it really is like that. And then when you put the headset on and you're like, okay, now it's really early. Like the headset's big and clunky and it looks awesome, but we're close to where you'll just be able to like tap and like have this, like when you can go on Amazon and like walk around and pick out your item in their store. Like something you can't try on, or, like when you're on Amazon or Walmart and you're going into their metaverse, you're like clicking your thing. Like that's when it's going to be mainstream,
So people have to experience it, basically, like anything in life. If you don't experience it, you really can't comment on it. But until someone experiences it, they'll feel what you're explaining, right? I mean, it's essentially.
Yeah.
But obviously not everyone's going to have the same experience.
Yeah.
There's people probably, I'm assuming, turned off by it, right?
Yeah.
Like what are some common...
That's normal though.
No,
like,
that's what I'm saying, like everyday
in the
life.
beginning of the camera, in the beginning of the email,
Right.
same thing.
Yeah, but what would be, in the community, have you heard that people like what they don't like about it? Is there anything like that, or is it mostly all pretty much positive?
I think it's more about outside. And it's just unfamiliar.
Not in the community.
No. I mean, it's about the platform maybe. Like, can we follow each other?
For me, like, being in there a lot makes me really appreciate real life. Like when I first got into it, was like I was in there a lot. I was building a lot, staying up late at night, building stuff. And now it's more balanced. Like I have a lot of projects going on, and then I can go out and be balanced. But the community, there is the metaverse, but then there's the Web3 community at large, which Stilo is really great at fostering, and that really goes down on Twitter, Twitter Spaces. So it's like he's having Twitter Spaces, and then he onboards people to come to his shows and listen to his music.
Yeah, absolutely. The Web3 community is super special because it's for the first time, we can, like for me, when I went found Twitter Spaces in January, it was the first time that I could connect with people like all around the world, live, 24/7. You wake up at 3 a.m, you're going to see Thailand and Vietnam and all the Malaysian everyone talking about technology. How can we do this better? How can we do that better? Obviously, there's, some spaces about basketball or, like Clubhouse, style, where they're that. But the Web3 community is, talking about NFTs and Metaverse and technology and how can we create, how can everybody get credit and monetize off their value, so it's just an amazing experience to meet people all around the world for the first time. We all get to learn from each other at an extremely fast rate. We're all learning from each other, and it's going to just grow faster, grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's going to grow faster. And I think the metaverse is going to come a lot faster than people think. Maybe like 5 years, it'll be like very adopted heavily, where like every business will have one, and it's just an option. It's not like that's where it's going. It's just going to be that option for you to have a community for your like if it was Starbucks, like their clients.
How would a business use that?
Like they'd have like a world, like I said, like how Amazon, like now, how already you can go on Amazon and you can say, hey, I want to get this chair. Let me see what it looks like in my kitchen. And it's called AR, augmented reality.
That, yeah.
So
you could check the dimensions.
Right. And so they're going to do that with more of a virtual reality, or you're actually like in a store, like hanging out, and they have either a person talking or an AI bot that's like, hello, how are you? Would you like to come over here and do this. And it sounds crazy, but like because
it's not physical,
it's
right?
it's just the next version of
Business.
our digital
Yeah,
experience.
digital.
We're already doing so much digital. Like, of course, we still want to be in real life and we want to have things and stuff, but you know, all these, especially like art, like pictures and music and stuff like that. This is a different way to make it valuable, I guess.
Well, it feels like too, though, there could be some people that get highly addicted to it versus they rather be in the metaverse versus the reality.
Yeah, like a video game, really.
Yeah, video. Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you, like I've been doing music since like since 2010, and between 2010 and 2020, I've always, I've been on Instagram, I've been on Twitter, but there wasn't like a connection. Twitter was always great for conversation, but it was very two-dimensional, and Instagram is very, very visual. And I've been there, but I could never understand like how to connect with people. And so now, for the first time, we have a way to like really, really connect with each other. So I used to be really lonely, because I worked a lot. I put a lot of hours in. So I would every day I wake up, do music all day, every day. And that was my number one main thing, and if there was like, in the beginning, my friends would go, hey, come out, roommates, I'd always like stay in. But anyways, when I moved by myself and I just immersed myself in music for like, 6 to 8 years, it was like, I was like, man, like I'm doing so much music. I remember looking out the window and thinking like, why am I so lonely? Like I'm doing so much music. Like I have like social media, I have Instagram and, and I'm like, but why am I so lonely? Like this music's really dope. And there should, I should have like a lot of people that I'm connected to with it, and I would have like, experiences and, with friends one-on-one, all the friends I've made here in Los Angeles, and, we'd all have our experiences and, play the music and feel something different. But basically I overall like just felt very alone. I was like, man, this shouldn't be like this. And it was just some kind of subconscious, and I would go to work, come back, do the same thing, and just, I'd love it. But sometimes it was like beautiful. It was like sad and beautiful. I wasn't like depressed, but I was like crying out the window, going like, I'm doing something so beautiful to me. And I'm like, but why am I alone? And I didn't understand. So now with the metaverse, like I think that's going to be cut with Web3 in the metaverse. It's going to be like almost like balanced out. Now I truly feel like I have so many friends all over the world. We have friends we have Peso as a friend in Florida. We have Benny in Northern California. Friends like New York, Brian, New York Culture Club in New York. Like there's just so many people that I can call right now and be like, hey, how are you? What's going on? And I've made so many friends, like real friends. And now I can go travel and go, hey, let's let's link up, let's meet up. And when NFT NYC happened, that was like the Super Bowl of all NFT events, So that was the first time I got to meet all the people that I met from that first, half of the year. And I'm like, it was a surreal experience seeing all these people that you
for the first time.
Right, that you just heard in Twitter Spaces or saw in the metaverse. And now they're here at the spatial event, and people drove like 8 hours, everyone like tried to make it as best as they could. And like, it's just, I feel fulfilled. I feel like this is a really dope tool for someone who wants to share and, also appreciate like others
And not feel lonely.
and not feel lonely.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's a way to really connect, especially with spatial, because of the way they've marketed it and designed it for the people that want to use it. Most of the people are some kind of artist. They're like a digital artist, a painter, music. We've even had comedians, poets.
What you would say that's majority of the high percentage of people are
Yeah,
artists?
so it's not just like people wanting to mess around and try to make a bunch of money or flip money or lose it or whatever. Like, trust me, I like doing that too. But it's not that form of like the Web3, like buy this and it's.
That's true.
And so
Because there's no advertising.
it's really like a lot of starving artists. You know what I mean? Like smart. The starving's kind of a bad word, but it's like hungry artists that are doing unique things, you know, with technology. Right. Like we might be playing in real life somewhere like he was in New York City, but then the thing is in the metaverse too, and then streamed to different things people like paint and stream themselves into it. But yeah, spatial, just because anyone can use it. It's it takes a while to learn, but it's more like drag and drop. It's, if you're thinking about it like a website builder, it's drag and drop. Like you get 3D objects, like how you would put a picture on your Facebook. Well, you're in this environment and you're like, oh, let me get a 3D podcast studio. So you can go search for that on the internet.
Yeah, I saw Stilo, the podcast studio.
Shout out to Creative Owls for that podcast studio, by the way.
Oh, I just won something from
No way.
I won
You won that?
Yeah.
Oh,
we got to use it for
sick.
VR boys.
Sick.
We got to have to use it for VR.
Fire. And
I just won an environment
and
from him.
And shout out to Gia and Jake too. Gia Valentina and Jake Steinerman from Spatial.
Yeah.
Super big ups.
For
Bree,
sure.
Stephanie, everybody
At Spatial.
Anand.
Tyrone. Anon. Yeah, Gia. That's another great thing about
Jacob.
Spatial is they're real
Wonky.
approachable. Like they are behind everybody that's doing things, and if you're doing something, they'll give you the platform to do it, you know, and they're growing with the people that are using it. And when people say metaverses, you know, there's really not one like that that's working, like especially the way it looks. Like it looks like Grand Theft Auto. Like it looks more adult, you know, and the other ones are cool too, you know, like Decentraland. It's just more blocky. It looks more like pixelated, but they're, you know, according to numbers we have, like their user base is lower than what we have, just because it's a different vibe. Like it's in Stilo, I really thought to say this when I heard him talking, because he has really honed into the type of person that wants to be in there, you know, a creative person. So how he really gets all these people and community builds is by having these Twitter spaces and these other things and saying like, hey, like we're all the same in here. Like, you know, when he has people on, like he says what he's doing, but he's great, like you are, at interviewing someone. You know, he's like, hey, what's your art? You know, like tell us about yourself. And so that's the interesting thing now is the economy wise, it's a lot of people making art in that particular metaverse, and we've been experiencing, you know, just experimenting with making money in there, with bringing people that aren't creators, people that buy stuff, or definitely brands, you know, and letting brands know that they can have a virtual reality website. Like we can build it for them, you know. Oh, hey, it's just up at any time, you know, like a commercial 24 hours for them.
Yeah, I agree. I actually was in some spaces yesterday. I met a mad genius, and he showed me some of his clients. And I got to see like Dani Alves, the soccer player on Barcelona. I got to see his metaverse as a profile, as a client. And I saw another, like an IKEA type of store, you know, and then I saw and then he had another one for, you know, a couple other things like basketball and this or that. But basically, like, you know, there are people with clients right now building things for, you know, like soccer players, basketball players, football players. You know, it's happening right now. I feel like it's just birthed. You know, like monetizing in the metaverse is just being born right now.
That's one example, but what would be another example how like you can monetize it? Or or a spatial, for example?
Well, token gating, you can charge. So most of these events that we've done have been free. So if you just know about them, you can come. But now they have a thing called token gating where Stilo has his song. And if you have bought it, you can come to the special party that he has. And so we're working on doing a series of shows where people pay basically a ticket to come, but it's an NFT.
Right. The Bonita NFT that sold 55. Token gating came out about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, or a month ago. Sorry. And that allowed me to give back to everyone that's bought one. I said, hey, there's an exclusive metaverse, and I'm going to throw an exclusive event just for these people.
Everyone that bought
Right.
Bonita.
And when you click on my space, you're going to get a you have to have this Bonita NFT, and if you do have it, it'll say congratulations and a bunch of confetti, and you're in an exclusive metaverse, and then it's an exclusive event, and I really go all out. Like it's live, and and I have a featured artist that I collaborate with, and we do something for the people. And I drop something new as well, so it's like a dope list. It's like an exclusive white list. I call it the dope list, so you can get dope listed automatically because you have a Bonita NFT. You're at the exclusive event with the first premiere of what I'm dropping next, so that's, that's gotten us into, okay, the next thing is concerts, now there's 500 people that can go into an event. So that's, if you had, $5 a ticket, 500 people, that's great.
Yeah.
You
don't need to charge that much, honestly.
Right. And
No.
And there's so many things like I was saying earlier, like now that we're more in a digital world, there's just all kinds of things to monetize in there, but it's just not the norm yet.
Yeah.
But we have people doing stuff and that we're working on where you can get merch in there. Like, say you get like this foam finger, like those things when you're like at a baseball
digital
game.
foam finger.
But a digital one, so you can like have it. It says, Dope Stilo or whatever on it.
Shout out Meta Mike.
Yeah, shout out Meta Mike. So there's this word called phygital, where it's like getting something in real life and digital. So maybe you can get a shirt in there, and then you can get the real life shirt. There's access, and then we're seeing that the people that are in demand the most, it seems like, are these 3D architects, people that are really good at designing these environments, like not because you can piece them together, kind of like when you make a song, like you sample a thing and you piece it together, which is awesome, and that's how I make stuff, and that's how Stilo makes stuff, because we're musicians. We're not like 3D graphic crazy guys, but these guys that we do know, it's like a whole nother art form where they're designing these worlds, and they're selling some of them for several $100s, and then they're custom making ones for a lot more. And then that's what I just won when we were saying, I just won something like that.
Like a dope 2-story like studio, like it looked really cool. Shout out Blockstone, Jahan, Declan. We're
Triple.
It's pretty crazy what's going on. So, with with the events and stuff. So we created a group, I feel like, we created a group called the VR Boys. And so, we're having fun. We created a song called Spacians, and it's for the community. It's for, it relates to everyone that goes in there and sees different colored faces, and all about being one. And, really true love into creating and expressing
and
art.
hopping. It's like space hopping, because on a good night we might go to a party or something, and it's kind of like real life, and someone's like, hey man, come to this space I just built, or let's go over here, and you're like, boom, and then you porthole over to there. And then he was talking about that beach he built, but that was just this week. Like on any given week, me and him might be hanging out building something in space. Like when I made the song, I got the idea from it because me and him had been hanging out on a Saturday night, and he made a Mars environment, and I had this like space environment, and we just kind of made the song about like, we're on Mars and hanging out, and it's fun.
Yeah. And so with monetizing, we're going to do a world tour. there's a company called Exclusible. They created these penthouses and minted them as NFTs. And our friend Jehan has all 5. So I said, why don't we do a world tour with the VR Boys, Dope Stilo, DJ Mackey, Benny Groove, Poison Peso, and we perform the song and our songs as well individually. We go November 7th, Las Vegas, November 18th, Dubai, November 29th, Paris.
So when you say world tour, this is going to be just
in the metaverse.
Metaverse, but it's going to be broadcast. But if it's world, couldn't anyone access it?
Right. So it's a world tour in the metaverse. We're changing the location of the location by changing the environment only.
Oh, okay.
So one's in Las Vegas.
So it'll look
one's
like
in
Las Vegas.
Paris,
But they're all penthouse.
one's in
They're all the
Dubai.
same penthouse, though.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the same penthouse. You just change the globe,
Yeah, so you'll know you're in
Yeah.
Vegas.
which is called Skybox. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll see the Eiffel Tower in the back.
And they're coming
Alright.
out with a yacht soon, which I'm
Yeah,
getting for sure.
You have
Well,
a
we-
yacht party.
Well,
Yeah.
We might be able to use that for the video is what
Yeah.
is the deal. So that's an exciting song. The VR Boys, like I don't know, man. I'm doing a lot. I've done music forever. I didn't want to form another rap group, but this is like these friends that I'm hanging out with already. We needed a song, and the VR Boys is kind of really catchy, and people are into it. So we've been working on it, and we haven't even like officially dropped all the things, but we've got all the the website and all the song and stuff. I've been working hard mixing that song. So we're excited about that. It's a song about Spatians. And so we'll see. And Stilo does that. And then I do a mindset course in there where I teach, personal development. And so that's been great too, because the type of people that come, we have it every week, so it's like hard to come every week, but you can see the people that come, and it's a good recruiting tool for me to see who I want to work with in there, because a lot of people that come to the class are kind of in the same vibe that I'm teaching in the class about like abundance and just, you can do it in positive thoughts and your mindset. So that's been cool because you can just kind of like see who you want to work with. And, by doing that, we have formed a company in there called Realm 3, and it's all the people we were talking about, me and Stilo.
Shout out Dabs.
We've got, a guy named Dabs. His real name is Corey. Like, he does the technical stuff. He takes the party photos. He records the whole event. We've got another guy, Jehan, who's like the interior designer there. He also hosts stuff technically. We've got a guy, Declan. He's in Portugal. It's the administrator of the whole thing and helps us book things. And we're just starting because we see a need in there for this, stuff. And we've done over 50 events, like all of us collectively together. So we've got experience in there.
Totally. And met a Mike too.
Oh, yeah, I met a Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, and met a Mike too. Collectively, we formed Realm 3, which, we're going to be helping curate events for others. There's a lot of technicals, a lot of things you got to learn, but a lot of people, a lot of companies, they don't really want to dive in that deep. And, some just want it done.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we're here for.
How would you present this to a company if you're?
Well, we have a website, and we that's all officially going to be ready next week. But yeah, we've got Realm. I think it's realm.io. But you just contact us, and we have different packages, and we can work with you because it is kind of complex. Like if someone maybe doesn't know anything, like say H&M called you and goes, "Hey, we want to have a party, but we don't even know how to look at the metaverse." So then it's like, okay, we have a onboarding thing that's like, oh, look, you can go on your phone and go to this and like view this. And then it's like, what do you want? Because like if we're performing or we're hosting media, we have to have a computer that's solid and make the delay as low as it can. It's technical, like doing a real life event where the sound needs to be as good as it can, and
Echo, delays.
Yeah, there's all kinds
feedback.
of things. Yeah, it's a brave new world, really.
Yeah.
You know, so that, and yeah, just curating, like we mentioned Meta Mike, like Meta Mike can offer, like say H&M was doing something and we're like, oh, do you want to have t-shirts too, like in real life t-shirts or shirts we could, you know, sell in the metaverse?
I was just wondering, like
He does
wearables.
merch.
Yeah,
like if
Mike would do that.
if you had like a sponsor from H&M or something, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, we have special
And
our
yeah.
spring line for.
And
Yeah.
you know what? Like, I think that, like for me, I feel like we have a secret sauce, you know, and there's something that you can't replicate that we have. You know, there's a certain magic in the air when we throw an event. There's excitement. There's a line before the event starts in the metaverse. There's people tweeting me just now, is it Wednesday yet? You know, so we do it, and we do it big, and we do it like artistic and professional.
The great thing about it too is, unlike throwing a festival or an event, you don't need a budget, right? Like you're throwing an event, you never know in real life that it's gonna hit or miss.
Yeah, and man, I can't tell you, like Ida, I have a friend, Ida X Lab. She is an artist, and she had an event, you know, her launch event. I got to perform at it. She bought the NFT, Bonita, and, you know, the performance token as well. And basically that I will perform for her whenever she needs me to. And basically when she threw her launch event, she had such a successful event. Like, it felt real, you know, there was so many people. They got to see what she does. They got to know her. They got to actually, you know, really know her name in a new way. They'll never forget that, you know.
I missed that one too. I there's so many that it's hard to miss, but like that was a great event from, you know, what I saw. That reminds me of Tokyo White. There's another person we know. There's fashion, you know, like they have these fashion shows, and Tokyo White, it was really, I guess it was technically her second event, but it felt like her first event, and it was like the best event by a first timer that we've seen.
Yeah, and Realm 3 hosted that.
Realm 3 hosted it, and she came to Mackey's Mindset every single week. She's never missed a week. So we feel like, you know, yeah, we're making a difference in there, and it's wild, man. Like you said, you don't have to rent, like for my mindset class, I don't have to rent out an auditorium and do all this.
Man,
but
But like you said in the beginning, it's a way to test out ideas.
yeah, it's a great way to test out ideas, you know.
amazing. Like, I know there's festivals that they just build models to test out the, like, what it's gonna look like. You know, they're like, let's put the tent here, let's put the tent here, and what if we put the stage over here? You know, they're just doing it to test their event in real life. You know, it's kind of like a 3D blueprint. You know, and you can walk around in it. Oh my gosh.
There's something in human nature where we want to like play with dolls and toys, and then we go into video games. It's kind of like that thing, I think, like we're thinking of ourselves in that, you know, metaphysical way. But like, if we're going to spend all that time doing it, why not build art and like have, you know, concerts, or would do a self-help class or a yoga thing or fashion. Spatial, they just had a big thing last week. They did Vogue. It was Vogue Singapore, right?
Yeah.
Vogue Singapore. So official Vogue, they did a thing, you know, for them.
On the
for New
cover
York
of
Fashion Week.
The cover of Vogue Singapore this month had a barcode to the metaverse, to Spatial's metaverse. And you know, Vogue has a gallery in there, you know, with wearables, and they even released 2 wearables with Ready Player Me as well for free. Tommy Hilfiger did as well.
Like the dresses. It was, and they looked amazing.
I got a Tommy Hilfiger fit right now.
Yeah, we've got Tommy Hilfiger. It's so, I hadn't worn like Tommy Hilfiger in real life in like 20 years, and then I'm like completely decked out in Tommy Hilfiger in the metaverse because it's like free. It's just a trip how they, you know, it's really new and fun in there.
Yeah, and yeah, like I said, every Wednesday anyone can come. DopeStilo.world. I throw an event where we encourage people to perform, to share, to collaborate, meet each other, you know, and it's completely free and super awesome. Like, I'll bet you it'll make your mood a lot better, you know.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm so happy that I have a new connection. I'm so deeply connected in this world now. I feel very, very immersed and connected to the world.
Yeah.
You know, before I was only here, right here with this bubble. You know, and maybe people.
And then
moved
you
out.
did it in real life in the you know at the in NYC, and just imagine the next time like we do that, like, you know, we want to plan to do that with VR boys and like have a real life thing like that, and it's wild, man, because you get to know people a lot more than just, you know, liking their post.
Well,
Right.
Like you said, like first time you're there, you're in for 5 hours. So say you throw an event, which you did for 4 hours, and sometimes you're in there for like 8 hours, it seems like. But if the people coming and going, you're having conversations with them, and sometimes it's for a long time, right?
Yeah, and like it's random too, because you know you have to tweak your space or whatever. Like Stilo knows, like he might be putting something in his room and in the morning here, and someone sees him in there that doesn't know him, but just is in spatial and wants to come in there and be like, "Hey man, like what are you doing?"
Because it's live all
yeah,
the time.
yeah, it's live and it's on the Explore page. When I was doing my mindset, like setting it up, I had given away all these NFTs, and people were coming in for like a week after that, like, "Hey man, are those NFTs still in here?" And like, because they're free, you know.
That's
and
funny. That's so funny.
you know, or like different times, and then it's because it's a whole little ecosystem there. And then when we had done the song for the VR boys and we played it for Gia, and she was like, "Oh, I want you guys to play this big thing we have Friday, and let's debut the song." And I was like, "Well, we're really not ready."
Metaverse Art Week.
Yeah, Metaverse Art Week. We're not really ready yet. But she's like, "Well, let's play the song." And so we did, and it was successful. And then the next week, I was in my mindset class, and there were some people in there, and they're like, "Oh, you guys are the VR boys? Like, we didn't even know." Like, it's like we're already like, you know, famous in the little ecosystem. It's a weird, it's an interesting alternative world.
What would you say if you guys know the user base of like spatial? Like how many users are there?
There's supposed to be 50,000 a day.
50,000 a day.
Yeah. And like in something like Decentraland, there's only like a few thousand a day.
And when you got involved in the beginning, what would you say if you knew?
For me on their follower account, you know, I would say like when I saw them, they had maybe 12,000 followers. Now they have 28.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, maybe their user base was around 20,000 before, you know, in January, or maybe 15.
And how have you seen your parties grow, events? I know you say you have a cap, but
the cap happens when it's like a very planned out, specific Realm 3 event. You know, when Realm 3 gets together, we max out the room
because it's 6 of us,
right? And we kill it.
Yeah.
You know, promoting. Mark, I don't promote the show anymore. Like my Dope Stilo Music Club event.
It's just like every Wednesday,
Every Wednesday, dopestilo.world. And believe it or not, that's hard to do. Like once a week is hard to do, man.
Well, even my class, it's like
once a week of anything, just to be consistent once a week.
You really with my class, I love teaching. Like I gotta go do it like right now, you know, and you definitely commit. But yeah, what he's saying though, if we do, you know, put all of our eyes on something and promote it for even 2 weeks, I mean, it goes off, you know, because we'll just do something and not even promote it. Like I did a video premiere and we decided to do it on a Sunday and we had it on a Tuesday and we still had, you know, 30 or 40 people in there. But a focused one, it's we've only been doing me and him. I've only been working with him since right in the beginning of May. So it's really been growing really fast.
And you guys obviously explore in spatial in the metaverse, but I was wondering, you said you guys have something special, but have you seen anything close to what you guys are doing or someone attempting to throw these events?
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of people doing. That's what we probably say. Like you have to focus on these events to promote them because now there's so many people in there doing all kinds of stuff.
And would you say a lot of these events now are full like yours, or people coming and going and just bouncing around?
Like,
because you guys, like you said, you're doing it something consistently. That's what I'm wondering. Like, are many others
Yeah.
doing the same.
Yeah, like I was the first. Like no one was doing music in Spatial
Yeah.
at all. Like at all. I was like, I'm throwing parties here. I'm throwing concerts here every week. You guys, like, I galvanized the troops. Like, you know, the troops I had, and I was like, I'm doing it. You know, and then I meet Mackey. You know, and you know, Mackey really helped to really go over make the water boil over, you know, with his expertise as well. So,
Yeah, music. We're definitely the top of music. Like, there's other people that do stuff that we've worked with, and there's other types of musicians in there too. There's like a piano player,
and it's just happened recently, like in the last month. You know,
Okay.
now they're starting to get musicians in there, but they're not like doing things consistently.
That's what I'm
yet.
wondering,
They're
yeah.
just like,
he cultivates a music crowd on Twitter, and then they kind of interchange, and you see like kind of people that have different levels of it. And then there's like instrumentalists and stuff, but it's kind of new. But to answer your question, like someone that might have a big party in there that's like as successful as ours or even more at a certain time might be someone that has a high profile NFT project, you know, where like people are buying it, or it's connected like Vogue, or like maybe Vogue did something, or maybe Spatial's doing a certain thing with this one artist, or it's like wellness, some things. As far as music though, we're pretty much doing that. Like maybe someone will have music, like say Tokyo White, she had a fashion show, but like any fashion show, it had the music in the background, you know, but it wasn't like the main thing of the show, like people performing at it. So, and then yeah, like when I DJ, I'll do it like depending on what we're doing. Like I might be DJing for like 30 minutes or 60 minutes straight, and it's like a dance party where people are in there having fun. You can go on the side of the room and talk quietly, and you know, not disturb anyone over on the other side. And then we might have another thing that's more like a concert where it's like, you know, Stilo plays for 30 minutes, I play for 20 minutes, someone else plays for this minutes. So yeah, we're pretty much the ones doing it on the music in there. And but people are doing that, you know, we're in Spatial mostly, so there's people in Centerland that are doing music all the time and
Super
stuff like
dope.
that too. You
yeah.
know?
Shout out Tang Poco.
Yeah, people like that, and you know, even Steve Aoki and stuff.
True.
Oh, yeah, I saw a thing with Steve Aoki. He was on social media where
Aokiverse.
well, there's someone who's like, oh, I want to make an NFT of you right now, and he's just walking down the street. He posted, and he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, just I gotta go somewhere. And I don't know if it looked like a stage, but maybe it wasn't.
That's what's been all fun nerdy thing about this is we know how to make NFTs. Like we even know how to like write our own smart contracts, like not like code them, but all kinds of nerdy stuff like that. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah. And totally like, you know, always staying like, you know, on the edge of like what's coming, you know, like we know wearables are coming, so we're creating them to be prepared, you know. We know like token gating has a huge, you know, opportunity to like really create like, you know, a community that's really, really strong. And so that's the next step.
And they just added like a social aspect where like you can see how many people have viewed the room, you can like the room, and like so that
Those
has
are new.
That just came out.
That just came out. So they're
well, that's good. There's like
slowly-
analytics that you want to know.
Yeah.
It
you
turned
know.
out I have 7,000 right now like views on the room, and 200 and something likes, like 300 likes.
Yeah. So imagine in the beginning, probably didn't even have that. So it's growing quite a bit.
Yeah, and you wouldn't even know. So that's coming right now. Like when we do these things, like if we have like say if we were like simulcasting this in our space right now, we would just share our computer screen and do it. But they're implementing YouTube directly, so they're gonna have like YouTube directly in the things too coming out soon. So
it'd be like a YouTube live stream.
yeah, and you can leave it on like when you're not even there. Because now if we were doing something like that, like we'd have to be in there like sharing it from our desktop.
So did you guys have? I know you got to head out, but
Yeah.
anything else you want to?
Shout
out or
just
explain?
pretty much look out for Dope Stilo Music Club. Look out for the VR Boys, the Realm 3. If you need anything, holler at us. I'm Dope Stilo on every social media.
Yeah, definitely. Just to simplify, the best place to get us right now is on Twitter. You know,
The Twitter Spaces.
Yeah, just I'm at DJ Mackey, DJ Mackey, and then he's Dope Stilo, like it sounds, DOPESTILO. And yes, we have a lot of other things, but just if you're going to remember one thing, follow us there at Twitter and thevrboys.com.
Yeah.
And then real quick, I just want to know, what is your opinion of the future?
Oh, I'm optimistic on the future. I would say that's one thing about Web3 people is they're all kind of, even if they're grumpy or you know, doing things, it seems like they're optimistic on the future of the internet and the digital way that we're all going to live.
Yeah, I'm super bullish on virtual learning, virtual experiences completely. You're opening yourself up to the whole world 24/7, a monetary value that is priceless. You know, instead of having your store on Melrose and La Brea, you can have that, and you can have a metaverse just like your store. And when someone comes in, you can say hello from all around the world and sell your merchandise. And there's, the way that we, express it, like the way that we display our merch or our music, our records, our, whatever we're selling, our goods, like that's getting more creative, and it's getting better and better and better and better. So the future for me looks like, getting better at getting better at creating an economy in my metaverse, dopestilo.world.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for coming in.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
Yes, hopefully see you in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're listening to Tastemakers
with Zebra and Jeebs.